Chap at the back.
A couple of times now we referred to Alfred, and we're in the same league as us, so we know better than them. That's it. But you've inherited all the wrongs from the past, right? And we've been here, we've seen better times, and it hurts to be playing in the same league as Alfred. To see them coming here and putting two past us, and us struggling to beat them. We know we're in the same league. We're not a big club, we're in the same league. It really, really hurts when we're not working before we have it. That's not your fault. That's from years and years and years of mismanagement. But a couple of times now you've said you can't understand why we didn't miss roof off for beating Alfreton. And to us it hurt to play with Alfreton. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just go back. I mean, I said it earlier that, and I do speak to a lot of supporters after the games. Me and Mick usually walking up and down after Sandy Bay Bar over in the Talbot. I'll get that. But what I want us to start doing, or what I want Mansfield Town to start doing, is I'd love us to look forward and understand where we are, who we are, and where we've been to, but where we could end up. You know, it's a sense of realism. You know, and the thing about, I'm a football supporter. You know, we all support football. Whether you're a manager, you know, tomorrow I might be out of a job and I could be going down to, I was going to say Notts County. Manchester City. No, I could be a supporter, and I would react the same as you guys. I think, but we have to, you know, we have to look at, you know, what's happened over the last 2 or 3 seasons of where this club is. But my job is to try and sort of see above everything, and to plan for where we want to get to. You know, to do that sometimes. I know this is going to sound awful again, but I have to ignore some of the comments like we should be beating Alfreton 4-0 because you know.
I don't agree with what I'm saying to you. We know it's right.
Yeah.
But it's hard to accept.
Yeah, I totally
agree. That's all I'm
agree.
saying. It's hard for a lot of people in here to look at fixture list and say Alfreton.
Can I just say
passion.
on that one, Gav? I totally 100% understand what you're saying, and all the frustration there is there, and we see it and we feel it. But what I'm saying is, yeah, it hurts, but at the end of the day, you want this team to get promoted like we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are frustrated, but taking it out on this team is not going to help this team.
No, I agree. Well, I'm not.
Do you know what I mean? I totally understand you're frustrated. So if you're frustrated, I understand that, but don't get excited then. Clap us and go home. Don't stand there like some people do. I've walked off after Alfreton, absolutely ran my knackers off.
Yeah.
So I've seen someone come running down. Murray, effing, shh. What? I understand you're frustrated, and the fact that we're playing Alfreton and we haven't smashed them 5-0, you can't get your head around. Totally understand that. If you're frustrated, go home and say to your missus, you cannot believe that. But you want this team to get promoted like we do, so hammering this team is not going to have a positive effect. That's what we're saying.
Don't think you've got me talking wrong, Andy. What I'm saying I don't think what you just said there, and what I'm saying is it's very, very hard to accept where we are.
Yeah, I understand.
We do accept it, and we don't think we've got the divine right to beat anybody in the league. But I'm just saying it's hard when you come up against a team like ours.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Wouldn't be associated.
But again, like the gaffer said, there has to be a sense of realism. At the minute, we are where we are, and we're in that situation, and if we want to get out of it, it's hard, but we've got to forget the past and say, right, we're Mansfield Town in the conference, let's stick together and get out of it. Not, well, 5 years ago we was here, and I wish we was back there because we had Liam Lawrence doing this and that. We haven't got that now. We're here, and we have to deal with this time and now. Otherwise, it's going to go on and go on and go on, and that can't happen.
Do you think
it'd be a good idea after a game to let the players mingle with the supporters in the Sandy Bake Bar to try and see what reaction you're going to get and if it's going to help the players and the fans to come together as one?
I think it's a really good idea. You know, obviously when I first come here, there was this issue of...
And it's only £2 a pint in Sandy Bake Bar.
As in them, you know, and what I said is that I'd like players to come up and even if it's just a quick Coke or something like that. Now, for one reason or other, there's a lot been going off. Players haven't been doing that.
Some have, Paul.
If I'm honest though, I mean, you know, early on when I was on the run, there was supporters coming up to me and just saying, you know, sat with, I think it was a Darlington, Martin Riley wasn't in the squad, and he's come and sat with the supporters. Once again, it seems to be this away thing. It seems to be players come and sit with the supporters, have a pie and chips in the stand. Or we should have salad, to be fair, but pie and chips in the stand with supporters. There shouldn't be an us and them. There should never be a club at any level of football. You know, because you know there's a sense of realism that you guys pay hard-earned money to come and watch us play. You basically pay our wages. You know, that's what it's all about. And there should never be a gap in any way. Now, how we do it, I don't know. I'll be totally honest with you, and I know most of my players. I wasn't say intimately then, but probably going a bit too far. But I know that they would love to come and socialise. I mean, just look at the dues we put on the Sunday daytimes. You know, has there been 4 players turn up and the rest 20, you know, sat in bed? Yeah. No, everybody's turned up, and I've not turned around, Skip, and just said, I'm going to fine you if you don't turn up. Players have come in, and I think have been really proactive in mixing, and I think going back to the scenario, I think that's probably what's, you know, we need to probably develop that a little bit, probably a little bit stronger.
The blip we're having at the minute is like a minor one. So do you think, like, you know, if you encourage them to come in, that again it's going to, you know, fill that void between us and them, and they're going to see it from both sides. The fans will see it from the players and vice versa, and encourage them to come for every game, and it might make things better, you know, more encouragement on the pitch and being a bit more supportive towards them instead of slagging them off all the time.
I think it's easier when you can relate to somebody, when you've had a pint with somebody, that it's, and you understand because people give you their perspective on it, that it's not, it doesn't become a clashing match, then it becomes a discussion.
This morning they training.
Yeah. You know, but once again, we had an incident after the game on Saturday where one player's family was sort of singled out, and you can understand a certain player's frustration at that, and thinking to himself, where's it all going to end, sort of thing, you know. So it's a minority again. It's a minority, and what I want the players to understand, it is a minority, and you don't discard the majority because of one or two. And anyway, we can.
Do you think that sort of scare that incident that allegedly happened on Saturday? Do you think that's scaring the players in mingling with the fans after the game? Because they've got the chance to go up there for a drink. But if I had to add you and give you that abuse, would you want to walk into Sandy Bake Bar or up here to, you know, have a drink and think, you know, you're going to get some more abuse through, aren't you?
What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think, Mus?
I think at the minute you'd have to say, yeah. I mean, a couple of lads today were like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Because that is stepping over the line.
Yeah.
But like I've just said to Shelley, I wish the lads could be here and see the fans like tonight, because you feel the energy, you feel the passion, whereas every Saturday, all they feel is the negative side, because they're walking off, the last thing they remember is, you this, you that, you crap, blah, blah, blah. So that's all that's in the head, whereas if they came and sat here, they'd see the whole other side, and the proper side to the club, and that's totally different.
On the forum, Dean.
Well, there's no reason if you're up for it, you bring the whole team to the next forum and sort that out. That's
This question.
yeah.
That'd be good. You like to sit here?
I think it would be good for the group in general.
Can I have a quick word with that? When you played at Luton, was it any different at Luton as regards the fans getting on the players and stuff?
To be honest with you, I weren't there long enough to find out. But at Oxford, again, big club, a lot of expectation. and we went through a stage where, like the gaffer said, if you're playing bad, fine. You understand that it's our job. We get paid to play football. We get paid to perform. Now, if we play bad and we come off and we've had a bad game and I've given 400 balls away, I expect to be booed and take some stick. But the thing where it's crossed the line now is it's becoming personal. And when it becomes personal, it is happening, mate, because Toddy, I'll use his name, he came on in one game, he's passed to Ross, we got a corner, Toddy's ran to pick the ball up, he's got abused, Toddy, he's got called a, I'm not going to say the word, for passing the ball to Ross. Now, and again, we're talking on a minority, but if you think somebody's family getting abused is right, then we're singing off a different sheet. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's becoming personal. And when you've got people running down the stands to personally abuse your gaffer and players individually, that's personal. That's not booing the team for a bad performance. That's personal.
You probably find that none of those people are here today.
I think Adam made a good comment earlier on about bringing the squad in here tonight and seeing the positiveness rather than, you know,
We've got to weed the buggers out, that's the problem.
I mean, are you guys happy to apologise on behalf of like the majority of Mansfield Town fans for these idiots that's basically letting the players believe that's, you know, that's acceptable? I mean, people here raising 20 grand a year for the club,
Well,
you know,
for instance,
what to help, do you know what I mean?
Somebody sent an email to the club about my interview and what I said, and that's what I didn't want, is the majority of the great support we've got is to think it was aimed at them. And I rang this gentleman personally this afternoon and says, look, if I've offended you, I am genuinely sorry because it wasn't aimed at you, but I'm not going to apologise for what I said about the minority, and I won't apologise because I believe I'm right.
Adam again. We know it's a good site because I can't remember in my lifetime going to Wrexham and winning, and Stockport and Darlington. So it's a good side, and we beat Newport 5-0 at home. How can senior players like you, on a positive, stop the kids playing with fear? Because they play with fear at home, and they shouldn't fear. You've proved that. Wrexham away, probably the toughest game you'll have this season is Wrexham away. So they've got it. So how can senior players like you get these kids to play without fear? Because it is fear.
I think,
you can see it
is.
fear.
And I think the big thing for me, and it goes back to what the big man says, is we need leaders out there that are going to protect the kids. Now, if a certain player makes a bad pass, misses a chance, he gets a bit of stick, you accept that, that's football. When a certain player or a couple of individuals are getting personal abuse, when they're giving 110% and they're making mistakes, because let's be honest, we're conference footballers. Me, myself, we're in the conference, we're conference footballers. If we didn't make mistakes, we wouldn't be here.
You've been Premiership.
Yeah. So when we are grafting our nuts off, giving everything we've got, which, like the gaffer said, we've got a squad of players now, and I've never been in a dressing room like it, that all want to win for the football club. When he does make a mistake, and it's you effing this, you effing that, you can't protect that, because straight away, that kid's confidence has just gone, I'm giving everything, what else can I do? I've made a mistake. You can't defend that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I come out and said what I said Saturday, because it is a minority, but at the minute, that minority is having an effect. Now, you look at the majority and the people here, awesome, and I've seen this place rocking, and I know the fans here are awesome, but at the minute, that little handful is having a real negative effect. And like the gaffer said, we've got a group of good young lads that could go on to be brilliant for this football club. And that's why I came out Saturday, said what I said, because I think us as a squad, the coaching staff, and the majority of you fans have to come together and cut that out, because at the end of the day, we all want success, do you know what I mean? And if them people want to be negative and want to go down that road, let them. We have to come together and say, you do that, we're going to stick together, see you later.
So from that then, I think that means SSA should sponsor a big drum and we can drown them out.
Yeah, if I'm totally honest, I think that's a fantastic
We need an atmosphere to drown them out.
We'd love to take it. If we can get it through you know, safety and everything else, but get somebody that wants to, does anybody want to
Can we
volunteer
vote
to back this
on
drum?
If the supporters want it, I'll speak to the chairman and whatever happens, we'll get a drum into the ground.
Yeah. We'll sort it, we'll just need a few volunteers to bang the drum and then we'll go for Listen down.
Cooksy, going on to that question, had you as a manager, you want to say you're at
Quiet down, please.
Going on for the question, you as a manager, for the next home game, how are you going to say to the players, how are you going to get them to relax on the ball? Because it is true what you're saying, the confidence does go as soon as somebody boos them, but what can, not Adam do as a captain, but you do as a manager before the game and after, to stop them being unconfident? I know it's just like a natural reaction to be unconfident when somebody boos you, but what can you do to help them, like off the pitch?
Do you want me to be honest with this question?
Yeah.
You can edit it later on.
After some of the stuff that's been said, it's a bit of a reverse psychology, and I work in really strange ways here. And I've done it at other clubs I've been at, is create a siege mentality. And us against the world, sort of, you know, the individuals that have taken a bit of stick, it's how to turn a negative into a positive, you know, because in this business, you go from a very, very low like that, but you go from a very hated person to a likeable person like that. So it's how to swap that round in somebody's head. And sometimes you've got to be really horrible. And I'm trying to be honest with you now. You sometimes got to say, how are you going to prove that's so and so wrong? If that makes sense. Now, because some of these boys psychologically get lost. And I'll be honest with you, they want to win. You've seen them sometimes. I mean, we had a lad from Forest come in on Saturday, got cramp. This is a professional footballer that's plays, you know, he's played for Wales under 21s, got cramp because of the amount of effort that these boys are trying to put in. But subconsciously, psychologically, this all affects performance. If they don't, what I'm trying to say, if I can't turn a negative into a positive, then I'm not very good at my job, if that makes sense. Now, whichever way, and I said I'd be honest with you, is that if we've got John Doe there, that's having a go at John Doe over here, and he's calling him an effing this and effing that and that, this guy's got to prove him wrong. Now, he's got to do that by, if he's a centre-half, keeping me a clean sheet and keeping him a clean sheet. If he's a midfielder, like going and creating, or like, you know, we've got Muzzer that's a creator, someone like Housey that's the ball winner. What I'm saying is, sometimes you've got to go out there and win mindset round. You've got to forget about, you know, what they called you. If they like you, if they don't, you've just got to go out and you've just got to, as I call it, grind it down. You know, and we can change. You know, it's like I said earlier on, it's like the chicken or the egg. What comes first? I'm not expecting the people, the small minority, to come and pat me on the back or to pat Ross Dyer on the back, or, you know, or some of the lads who've been abused. Sometimes you just got to go out and earn it. You know what I mean? Now, whatever makes an individual tick, you've got to earn it. You know, because it's not, football's not a very nice game. It's full of expectations, it's full of, you know, people, every team, every supporter that starts this season has aspirations to, 1, win the league, 2, win a cup, 3, go to the 3rd round, 4th round FA Cup. There's only X amount that can do it. So the majority are disappointed, you know what I mean? But now it's about, I think, us working together, me working with individuals. Now, I'm not saying that I want a centre forward. I don't want Ross Dyer to go and score a goal on Saturday, our next home game, and then give it the big birdie to the crowd, because that's not proactive.
Why?
No, but what I'm saying is it is because, you know why? Because it's a small minority. You know, and you shouldn't affect the majority by a small minority. What I'm saying is, if we get 2,500 in the stadium, majority, honestly, I think you feel the passion, you feel the desire. He's got to, like, in his own little way, if it's him as an individual, win his own personal battle, if you get me. And whatever, you know, floats his boat, he's got to win that. You know, me as a person, you know, as a manager, as a midfielder, as an assistant manager, we've all got our own little personal battles to sort of win, if that makes sense. But it's whatever I prefer to turn a negative into a positive, whichever way, you know, and I suppose it depends on if you've got half a glass that's full or half a glass that's empty, you know, but if you lay down, what I've said a few times in the press is, we can all lay down and just roll over and just say, throw the towel in, but I don't think that's me, I don't think that's these two, I don't think that's even some of the younger players. I think, you know, I want the younger players to stand up, be counted and become men, you know. And then I think the same people that are, one say, we can change mindset. We have to change mindset. Because if not, it's a slippery slope, because a new manager will come in, a new centre forward will come in, and there will keep being a conveyor belt of, well, the manager's took stick, he's moved on now, he's gone. The centre forward's come in, he's moved on. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to stand still, you have to go, you have to fight the fight, don't you? You have to really go and fight. If it's a supporter, I don't mean literally. But you have to, in your own personal battle, you have to try and win. You know, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I'm hoping for the younger players, it's time to stand up and be counted. And I don't mean, sometimes the bravery is accepting a ball. We've just been talking earlier on. It's about a fullback accepting the ball, you know, out wide and wanting to play. You know, Alfreton was a prime example. They went for 9 men down, and I'll be totally honest with you, 10 or 15 minutes, they were still the better side with 9 men.